All right. Chapter 8, verse 6. So before, as you go forward, make sure you have your worksheet out. Let's make sure we're all on the same page here. You should have everything through great multitude on the first page, correct? Yes, good. On the back side, we should have everything with golden, white, rainbow, red, black, and green. Correct? So far, remember the numbers, we should have, let's see, 4, 7, 10, 12, and 144. Which one do we not have? Or do we have more? 6 and 5, or 5 is 4. Okay. We haven't done 5 over 42. Great. Cool. So you're right where I think you've got everything you need, which is good. Let's go back. So, what have we been talking? What were we talking about yesterday? Yesterday was kind of an interesting day. We talked about, what did we talk about?
The 7 seals.
The 7 seals, great. They were opened one by one, right? What happened roughly, or what happened generally when each seal was opened? That's bad stuff. Bad stuff, good. That's exactly the answer I was looking for, right? Bad stuff happened, right? Horses showed up, and death, and destruction, and plague, and famine, and all of those things. And in chapter 7, we see 144,000 were sealed. Who are the 144,000? God's people, all of God's people, 144,000. They are sealed, protected. And then we get the 7th seal in chapter 8. We move into the 7th seal being opened. Now, so 8 verse 6. So now we are with the 7 angels and the 7 trumpets. 7 angels and 7 trumpets. So we're going to quickly look at the different trumpets. So now the 7 angels who had the 7 trumpets made ready to blow them. And the first angel blew his trumpet, and there followed hail and fire mixed with blood, which fell upon the earth, and a third of the earth was burnt up, and a third of the trees were burnt up, and all the green grass was burnt up. All right, so now that the trumpets are starting to blow, what's happening?
Fire and
More
no more trees.
More bad stuff, right?
Yeah.
More bad stuff. It seems like this fiery judgment is really coming down upon everything, right?
I guess God doesn't like grass.
He doesn't like grass. I don't think that's the proper interpretation, but good try.
He doesn't like sinful grass.
Yes, there we go. That's definitely the proper interpretation.
Yeah.
What's that?
So,
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Very well.
The second angel blew his trumpet, and something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea. And a third of the sea became blood, and a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. More bad stuff.
Fish were saying, ew.
The fish were sinning, the boats were, a third of the boats were sinful.
With the grass.
With the grass. Oh my goodness. Verse 10. A third angel blew his trumpet, and a great star fell from heaven. Woke you up? You needed that wake up. You did. I love vuvuzelas. They annoy the crap out of my brother, and that's why I love them even more. A great star fell from heaven. That should be on our worksheet, right? The great blazing star. Look at all your faces, which is awesome. So worth it. You saw it coming? You did. You were looking, you were paying attention. You saw it. You saw it. The vuvuzela come out. I actually thought about bringing my actual trumpet, but I'm like, no, the vuvuzela's better.
Yeah, it should have.
Should have?
Yeah.
Oh well.
Very good tomorrow.
No.
Stars. We'll be done with the trumpets. We'll be done with the trumpets by today. Alright, stars. What should we think about? Stars.
That's a lot.
How about the symbols that we've seen already in the scriptures, the different brilliant stars? Angels, right? Good. Stars, angels. Third angel blew his trumpet, and a great star fell from heaven.
It's maybe a saint, maybe? A saint?
A saint?
A great star?
No, not a saint. So think about the star falling from heaven. Falling from heaven.
They like kick another angel out or something.
Maybe. All right, let's keep reading. Blazing like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the fountains of water. And the name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many died because of the water, because it was made bitter. All right, so great blazing star named Wormwood, which means, what does it mean?
I'm bitter.
Bitterness, yes. Shoot, I forget off the top of my head. I'm gonna look this up real quick because it's actually rather amazing. I don't Gospel of John or Revelation. Go. Chapter 8. What verse are we in? Oh, okay, got it. So, wormwood is incredibly bitter. A single ounce, so it's an herb, and a single ounce of it will alter the taste of 524 gallons of water. A single ounce of wormwood will alter the taste of 524 gallons of water.
Use it in moonshine.
Do they?
Yeah. I was last night, I went down to the YouTube rabbit hole and I just watched for like 3 hours, these videos of people making moonshine and they use a lot of wormwood in it.
Do I need to be concerned?
Yes.
No, it's normal. You're not gonna make moonshine?
I cannot guarantee that.
We talked about rebuilding.
Sure.
What?
I would rather you try and rebuild the temple than make moonshine.
Get the box.
I mean, they do make a lot of money, like the guy, he made like 20 grand in like
No.
Louisiana.
Remember, we're recording. Don't
Isn't the prohibition over?
As you keep going, you're still prohibited from,
Well, yeah, but in like a couple of years, like 20, when I'm 21.
a couple of years, 21. Yeah.
So that's like, that's.
All right, let's keep going.
That's like
let's keep
7
going.
years away.
Before you dig a bigger hole for yourself, let's just keep going. All right. The fourth angel blew his trumpet, and a third of the sun was struck, and a third of the stars, so that a third of their light was darkened. And a third of the day was kept from shining, likewise a third of the night. And when I looked, I heard an eagle crying with a loud voice as it flew in mid-heaven, woe, woe, woe to those who dwell on the earth, and at the blast of the other trumpets, which the three angels are about to blow.
No.
Not gonna blow it again.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh, I said, yeah.
Mine's just disaster instead of war.
Disaster. I feel like those are kind of the same thing.
What was sadness, disaster?
No, woe is it's not a sadness, it's almost a despair at the disaster that's happening. And the fifth angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star fallen from heaven to earth, and he was given the key of the shaft of the bottomless pit. And he opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from the shaft rose smoke, like the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened with the smoke of the shaft. Then from the smoke came locusts on the earth. All right, what do we think that is?
The locust of the plague from Exodus.
Well, certainly there's a connection there, right? Because what do locusts do? They eat like everything, right? They destroy all crops, all food. But before that, the star that's fallen there.
Oh, that was like probably another angel.
Fallen angel, probably, but this one has the key to the bottomless pit, right?
Is it Satan?
Probably Satan, right?
Well, the locusts are big and they have like human hair and stuff.
With the green head. I know you like it.
Yeah, I know. They look like big scorpion scales.
Alright. Let's go to verse 7 then. Let's jump right to that spot, since you like it. In appearance, the locusts were like horses arrayed for battle. On their heads were what looked like crowns of gold. Their faces were like human faces. Their hair like women's hair. And their teeth like lions' teeth. Alright, again, right? Very strange image, right? It will break your brain. Maybe not Max's brain. Max is like, this is cool.
If I saw them in real life, they would probably break my brain.
Probably. They had scales like iron breastplates, and the noise of their wings was like the noise of many chariots with horses rushing into battle. They have tails like scorpions and stings, and their power of hurting men for 5 months lies in their tails. They have as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, which in your worksheet is angel of the abyss. So, in Hebrew, the word is Abaddon. In Greek, the word is Apollyon, and it means destroyer. Destroyer. Which, thinking about the what those locusts look like, right? Someone named the destroyer certainly would be ahead of that locust army.
No reason.
Verse 12. The first woe has passed. 2 more are still to come. Yikes. Let's see. Yes. Yes. Sure. And the 6th angel blew his trumpet, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar before God, saying to the 6th angel who had the trumpet, release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates. So the 4 angels were released who had been held ready for the hour, the day, the month, and the year, to kill 1/3 of mankind. That is tough. It's tough. The number of the troops of the cavalry was twice 10,000 times 10,000. I heard their number, and this was how I saw the horses in my vision. The riders wore breastplates of the color of fire and sapphire and silver, and the heads of the horses were like lions' heads, and fire and smoke and sulfur issued from their mouths. By these 3 plagues, 1/3 of mankind was killed, by fire and smoke and sulfur issuing from their mouths. For the power of the horses is in their mouths and in their tails. Their tails are like the serpents with heads, and by means of them they wound. Okay. Sapphire and sulfur. Does anybody have different words there? In chapter 9, verse 17. Yes.
Just red, blue, and yellow.
There we go. Good. We've already talked about red, right? What does red mean? War, violence, and slaughter.
Strife.
Strife. All right, flip it over. Blue and yellow. We got that as well.
It means initiative.
Does
So blue.
Yellow, it's not really yellow, right?
I thought-
Maize.
Maize. Okay, maize and blue. Blue and yellow, blue is smoke. I think. Did I get these mixed up? Nope, I got it right. Blue is smoke. Color blue, right? You see the smoke all around?
Keep it, you get there.
I don't think smoke is blue. I don't think I've ever seen blue
The
smoke.
color represents that. And yellow,
Gray.
sulfur. The pH or half? It's half. Sulfur, does that look better?
No, it's blue.
That's what I thought. Sulfur.
Mine's blue.
Huh? Yours spelled with an F?
Mine's blue.
I think it
You're
is.
right.
Yeah, mine's spelled with an F.
But then maybe it's more with.
Yeah, that looks great.
Why don't we just write it brimstone? They're the same thing.
They're not actually quite the same thing. Sulfur. Does anyone actually ever smell sulfur?
Not
It is horrific.
It's something in my footnotes, for this verse, blue literary, and it says hyacinth color, I think that's how you say it, and yellow.
It starts with an H?
Yeah.
Like hyacinth?
HYACINT.
Yep. Flower. Flower. Yep. And what else did it say after that?
Yellow literary sulfur.
Sulfurous.
You know, so, like,
You guys never heard of hyacinth?
no, like, how does he just know everything?
Because he pays attention in class.
I know, like, he knows stuff.
I know,
it's
external
hard to
hard.
understand, it's not just flat, it's others.
He goes down lots of YouTube rabbit holes.
More than that. You're hungry.
Group, better run. Hello? Yep, we'll do that. Yep, bye. Molly? You have the office?
Okay.
You get this, get that a little bit of today. It's all good. I know, right?
I will.
They get them from something. So that's all. Alright, everyone's gonna take me with you. Let's go. I know you guys want to be in class so bad.
What?
I don't even, I don't
Hey,
even school,
I would rather be here than go where I'm going, so.
Where's that?
but that's what I mean.
I think I'm going to vision therapy.
What's that? Oh, I can't see her.
They're rewiring my brain so I can see.
But that.
Peace.
People that don't remember.
Alright,
My vision is pretty bad.
Silencio.
I was. I need to know. Can we watch a YouTube video on vision therapy?
No.
Not.
Pretty much a YouTube video on moonshining.
No.
It's pretty interesting, actually.
What we'll end up doing is you'll have to watch the YouTube video of this class because you didn't pay attention the first time.
I paid attention to everything.
Should.
Everything.
Chapter 9, verse 20.
Uh,
The rest of mankind who were not killed by these plagues did not repent of the works of their hands, nor give up worshiping demons and idols of gold and silver and bronze and stone and wood and tiktok, which cannot either see or hear or walk, nor did they repent of their murders or their sorceries or their immorality or their thefts.
I don't think that's in the
You all
Bible.
look very confused.
I wasn't in there.
What was in there? What? I just read what the scriptures say. That's
So
all I
wait,
do.
can you have a copper idol? Then, because it
It
doesn't
doesn't
say,
mention copper,
it does not say copper.
then, yes, you may have a copper idol.
Seriously?
No.
Here, go talk to
He said no.
Okay.
I mean, if they're gonna be, how does, there's a difference, copper's not bronze, it's an alloy.
It's true.
Yeah,
There's a
there's a
difference.
difference.
Copper, I think bronze is copper and tin. I think bronze might be copper and tin, or no, bronze is, what's the other one? Brass, no, brass.
He's been waiting for like 2 weeks.
We good?
That's very good.
Alright, chapter 10. Then I saw another mighty angel coming down from heaven, wrapped in a cloud with a rainbow over his head. Rainbow. Rainbow. Go.
It means all knowing and powerful.
Not all knowing.
No, I meant all powerful. I
Perfect.
accidentally wrote that. It's that one word,
Perfect. Omnipotence. Omnipotent. Omnipotent, omnipotence.
not.
Either way, it's pronunciation fine.
So that reminded me of something. Didn't God like promise to not destroy humanity again? Or was that like specifically floods?
Right, so.
Is he like specifically promising to not flood?
Right, so what's actually happening here then? Is he destroying
Yes,
or is he recreating?
no, that's what he did.
Are we
with Noah.
to take this literally or symbolically?
I mean, Symbolically.
If we have the option to take something literally in Revelation or symbolically, which one should we choose?
Probably symbolically.
Right?
Really would be pretty cool actually.
So, remember, symbolically, right? Is God literally going to destroy the earth in fire like this?
There's probably a 95% chance he won't.
That would be,
Stop making
so send me an email, and tell me, show your work on that number.
That's just my estimate.
You said something.
Because I feel like God tends to do like a lot of stuff.
So, what are we seeing with all this destruction? Like, what's the point? What's God doing in all of this? What's he doing?
It's a metaphor that your sinful ways will make you not be in heaven with God.
Okay, it's a good start, but it's not quite right. What's the point of all of this death and destruction? Why are we reading about so much of it? Death is a consequence of sin. Good, I said it backwards this time, we still got it. Death is the consequence of sin. Is there a lot of sin in the world?
Yes,
Is there a lot of injustice in the world?
yes,
Is God gonna have perfect justice in the end?
yes.
Does this look like what's happening right here in
No,
Revelation?
Yes.
maybe
Does it look- Yeah, so,
Yes.
I didn't ask
He
whether
said
it
yes,
was-
then it's yes.
In Revelation, whatever Max says, that's my answer. Right? Revelation, does it look like we're getting judgment here?
Yes.
Right? And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that, wow, there's an awful lot of sin in the world, and for God to have that perfect justice.
Oh, wait, it's a metaphor for Judgment Day. Because
Same with the ways.
I remember, I
He
know
just
that.
knows stuff out of nowhere.
I mean, I've only been kind of leading you to this the entire way.
He knows, like.
He's only, yeah, it's only been on the board.
He must be
I'm
giving
literally trying to lead that to you.
He would have got it right, he would have.
This is true, but I want you to get it right too. Now you get it.
There's some pretty good tongues.
Let's go to chapter 10, verse 8. Then the voice which I had heard from heaven spoke to me again, saying, Go, take the scroll which is open in the hand of the angel, who is standing at the sea and on the land. So I went to the angel and told him to give me the little scroll. And notice it's a little scroll. It's interesting. Do you guys have little scroll in yours?
Yeah,
Chapter 10, verse 9.
the seer eating a small scroll.
We haven't got to the point yet.
As
Slow down.
it literally says in the title.
Chapter 10, verse 9. Everyone has a little scroll there? Interesting. Small scroll. So that's one of the things I have not really noticed until now. Little scroll, he said to me, take it and eat. It will be bitter in your stomach, but sweet as honey in your mouth. And so I took the little scroll from the hand of the angel and ate it. And it was sweet as honey in my mouth, but when I had eaten it, my stomach became bitter. And I was told, you must again prophesy about many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. So he's been given the words to speak and prophesy. What do you think it means that it's sweet in his mouth but bitter in his stomach?
So this is actually a metaphor for when you sin, like it's good at first, but then later it's not good.
Good. It's like I'm initially, right, partaking in the sin.
Yeah.
Good. But then it becomes sour.
Sour.
Good. So what is God telling him to proclaim?
Many different nations and countries.
Not-
and
not to
languages
who.
and kings.
What is he saying? What should he say to those?
Against many different nations, countries, and kings
No.
and such.
Well, if that's the image he's been given, what is God asking him to say?
Oh, maybe there's a book.
Is it, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Revelation is prophesying the book. He's writing the book.
Use the image.
That sin is bad. That
There we go,
sin is
right?
bad.
So it stops it, even though it may be good in the moment, it stops it. You
Oh,
got this. Come on, take it easy.
I don't know. He's scared sometimes. He's the only person that's scared.
Nah,
No, yeah.
no.
I'm a very scary person.
You know, there's stuff he says scary. Like,
Calm
he says
down.
stuff like he's gonna bring the dragons back or something.
That'd be cool, actually. Like, you can't say that one episode. Would that be that bad though? Like, if we had dragons?
We got the dad.
Like, really?
Alright, then I was given a measuring rod like a staff, and I was told, rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar of those who worship there. But do not measure the court outside the temple, leave that out, for it is given over to the nations, and they will trample over the holy city for 2 months, for 42 months, sorry, 42 months. Great city. Great city. Should be on our list, right? 2, 3, oh.
We have 2 witnesses.
What's that?
We have 2 witnesses.
Is Great City after 2 witnesses?
They were against that.
Ah, shoot. All right, we'll do the Great City first, because I think the Great City comes first. All right, Great City. They will given over to the nations, they will trample over the holy city for 42 months. Hey,
But
do that outside of my class. You do that in my class. In the back. Do it outside of my class. When you go back. All right, so we've got a whole bunch of sign symbols here, right? We've got great city. We've got 2 witnesses. We've got 42. And that's going to lead us also to 3.5. So, great city, 2 witnesses, 42, 3.5. Let's look at that third. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 lampstands, which stand before the Lord of the earth. And if anyone would harm them, fire pours from their mouths and consumes their foes. If anyone would harm them thus, he is doomed to be killed. All right, so, the great city's down this way. Let me just keep reading, we'll go from there. They have the power to shut the sky that no rain may fall during the days of their prophesying. They have power over the waters to turn them into blood and to afflict the earth with every plague as often as they desire. And when they have finished their testimony, the beast that ascends from the bottomless pit will make war upon them and conquer them and kill them, and their dead bodies will lie in the street of the great city, which is allegorically called Sodom and Egypt, where their Lord was crucified. Okay, so we have quite a few images here, right? The 2 witnesses. What are the 2 witnesses? What does the text say the 2 witnesses are? Anybody? Anyone? Okay, the Bible will be helpful. Chapter 11, verse 4. Why don't you read chapter 11, verse 4?
I don't know.
Oh no, you're not even on the right page, are you?
Oh, I know.
Okay, read it.
What chapter and what verse?
11,
4.
4.
These are the two olive trees and the two lampstands that stand before the Lord of the earth.
Great. Is that what your footnote say? Moses and Elijah? Interesting, so actually mine says, Elijah and Enoch. I actually tend to think, even differently. So it could be,
For the footnote,
yeah, what did you say?
I don't know how to pronounce the first one in Joshua.
Oh my gosh. So as you can see, there's not a real consensus over it, for
Mine says-
Zerubbabel.
Mine says ZC 4314.
So that's like the cousin of C3PO.
No, I think it's Zechariah. Come on, where's Zechariah? I don't know where Zechariah is. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
it's ZC.
Wow, that hurts my soul.
Where's
Alright.
Zechariah?
So, who are these two witnesses? Whoever they are, they have power to prophesy, so they will be prophets who are persecuted. And their job is to prophesy. Now, what perhaps my personal take on this is, since they call them the two lampstands, what is a lampstand meant before? What is a lampstand meant before? The church. So I don't know if necessarily it's two different people, individuals, more as two different churches who stay true to the faith, prophesy, and stay close to God, and are eventually killed. So, either way, prophets who are persecuted. We probably finish it off too, right? And killed. What about the great city? The great city. Chapter 11, verse 8. Who wants to read that? Chapter 11, verse 8. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say the two olive trees are in there. They're in Zechariah. That's what I think.
Can you read, want to read that section? Is that correct?
Yeah, it says, let's see, the angel who was talking to me came back and roused me, though rousing someone who was asleep. As he asked me, what do you see? I looked, there's a lampstand entirely full of 7 lamps, 7 openings for lamps on the fire. 2 olive trees, one to the left, one to the right, and the other to the left. And I said, the angel who was thinking, where are these things, my Lord? The angel who was talking to me replied, do you not know they are? I said, no, my Lord. He doesn't give me the answer. 7 are the eyes of Yahweh, who reigned through the world, and what's olive trees, they are the 2 anointed ones in attendance of the Lord of the whole world.
The 2 anointed ones, attendants of the Lord. So that's probably why people were, or a lot of our Bibles suggest they're 2 different people, right? I'm still gonna hold. Either way, prophets who are persecuted and killed. The anointed ones. All right, I've got 9 minutes. Okay, good. All right, let's go to the other one. So, the great city, Sodom and Egypt. Why are these 2 picked as the great city? They're cities of sin. We talked about the 42 months, right? The 42 months where the Lord was crucified, right? So, again, symbolic places, right? So Jerusalem would be a part of that as well. But notice they don't mention Jerusalem by name. They mention the act of Jesus being crucified. Another act of sin, right? We crucify the Lord. So kind of lumping that in with Sodom and Egypt. Does that make sense? As if it was just Jerusalem, instead of being the holy city, they're basically cities of sin. All right, 42 and 3.5. So we talked about the 42 months that the two witnesses will prophesy. And we're actually going to do this. Oops. Wait, did I get that wrong? I did get that wrong, gosh. 42 divided by 12, who can do that off the top of their head? Nope. Nope.
Well,
Nope.
Oh, wait.
48 would be 4.
That's 3.5.
3.5.
okay.
I said,
So 3.
yeah, I said 3 and 1.5. You said.
I did not catch it. 3.5. That's the next number, right? So 42 divided by 12 is 33.5. So then what does 3.5 mean? Which would be then, so what's the connection between 42, 3.5? 3.5 is the final period of Satan's rule. 3.5 years. 3.5 years. Any questions about what we talked about today? Awesome. Again, this should be pretty easy. I think this should be pretty easy. Easy points are good, right? Yep. We will go over the study guide at some point.
I just found out so we tried to break into my brother's car last night.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we were video.